Good. What are you
Well, it's
thinking?
heating up again, but I think still the tea leaves show that it's not going to be to much avail for the Democrats.
Why do you say that?
Well, Mitch McConnell has already said outright there's no chance that he's going to be removed. They still have the votes, unless there's some new defections in the works. The votes just aren't there. And Rudy Giuliani has been all over Fox News last night and today, denying that Parnas is that there's any truth to his story. So they're already attacking what the Democrats hope to present as a smoking gun witness, and whether they can make that stick or not, I think is highly suspect at this point.
Well, do
Highly
you?
in doubt.
I mean, what from what I've been reading this morning, apparently there are some poll numbers that show that there is concern that the trial be fair, and that's where McConnell and those guys might be a little bit
I'm
vulnerable.
sorry, Kent, that the trial is what?
That the trial at least be fair. In other words, even people who feel that Trump should be acquitted
Yeah.
and not removed feel that there should be indeed a fair trial. So I wonder if McConnell is making a mistake by, sort of setting it up publicly as not being fair.
Well, even if public opinion is being moved somewhat by that,
Hmm.
as indicated by the polls, that still is not, it's still a long shot that that's going to translate into enough defections among the Republicans to actually remove Trump from office. In this case, it's like public be damned. We don't care what the public thinks if the
Right,
polls
right.
are accurate, but, we still have the votes. I mean, that's what it comes down to, counting the votes.
But I mean, do you think, let's assume that you're right, that he's not going to be removed. What about the 2020 election? I mean,
Well,
what's the
you've
fallout
long
there?
been talking about the death by a thousand cuts.
Right,
And if they're able to bring in new witnesses, which is highly in doubt,
right.
then perhaps it will have a bleeding effect on Trump. But the way it's shaping up so far is that there's going to be all kinds of blockages of bringing in those new witnesses. And if that's the case, then the strategy of using a blade to bleed Trump by a thousand cuts has been significantly dulled.
But what about the fact that I think that there, at least the Democrats are talking about continuing investigations, and certainly the media will continue, its
Yeah,
investigations. So,
I mean, it's going to be all over the news as the primary season approaches.
right,
We're only weeks
right,
away from the Iowa caucus and
right.
shortly thereafter, the New Hampshire primary. But again, Ken, what I've been saying all along is even though, even if there's meat to all this, the way it's going to be spun effectively by the Republicans and by Fox News and other conservative outlets, it's going to be that this is just a witch hunt, and it's more trash that the Democrats are throwing out now, or mud, hoping that some of it will stick. So again, it's still going to maintain that quality of political back and forth and payback. It's not a clear cut indication that President Trump, is totally in the wrong here. And again, they're still trying to get Hunter Biden in there, the Republicans are. And even if they fail to produce him as a witness, it still is being thrown out there in the public's face that the hypocrisy of this, that the Democrats are not at all interested in how the vice president's son was making all this money on the board of a Ukrainian company when the vice president was in charge of U.S. policy with Ukraine. So whether or not that was technically illegal, it certainly stinks to high heaven. And it also continues to give the public pause for thought that there is a double standard here. This is what's been effective for the Republicans all along, and it's going to continue.
Well, I'm not sure I agree with you about the spin. I'm not sure it's going to work this time because there was a poll in an earlier story we did today, this morning, saying that 69% of people, and that includes Republicans and Democrats, believe that he did do it, that he did in fact, do the thing with Ukraine,
Yeah, and I've been
did in
saying all
fact,
along that there was quid pro quo.
right,
That's clear.
right,
But whether they could get the public so enraged that the Republican senators will feel compelled to remove him, I think is highly in doubt. Again, it's not like a clear-cut, severe type of violation, such as with Nixon. Had to resign because he knew he was going to be impeached and removed by
Right,
the Senate. He resigned before they could do that. And
right.
there you had a president at the center of an illegal break-in of Democratic headquarters and all kinds of other violations being coordinated out of the White House. I mean, that was much more intense, much more serious, at least in the eyes of the public, than what this is now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
again, I don't think it's going to generate the kind of public outrage that would be necessary to put pressure on enough Republicans to
Yeah.
vote him out of office.
All right, we'll see.
All
Talk to you
right, Jim.
tomorrow then. Okay.
Okay.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye.